Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to small Umineko When Seagulls Cry, which isn't happening anytime soon. Let's continue. Natsui let her head droop, closed her eyes tightly. This room had also become a vital crime scene for us to hand over to the police. By the end of it, there's not going to be any rooms for you to stay in, it'll all just be crime scenes. It was decided that we would leave Grandfather's corpse here and not concealing it. It isn't clear when Grandfather's corpse started burning in the incinerator. According to Genji, the strength of the flames hadn't been that strong. The body must have started burning a long time ago. So the stench could slowly creep out of the furnace and fill the room bit by bit, eventually pouring out and climbing up the staircase. Putting aside whether he was rare or well done, Grandfather had been brought out, killed and burned, even though he had started out locked away in a closed room created by his auto lock. There's probably no doubting this. However, according to Genji-san, the boiler room is usually locked. The possibility that someone outside our group had snuck in and committed the crime was overwhelmingly high. There's also a good chance that this person was walking around with something like a master key. After all, doors and windows throughout the mansion had been checked. Despite that, the culprit was able to strut around the mansion freely. Does this crime confirm that a 19th person exists? Still that contradiction, since they're trying to tout their existence without ever showing themselves once. Along with Kire's-san's chessboard theory, and using this contradiction to deny the existence of a 19th person, they not. What about the hatchet? Surely they should have seen the hatchet by Canon. By spinning the chessboard around once more, the very fact that this crime makes it perfectly obvious that a 19th person exists. It means that the existence of a 19th person is even less plausible. As long as that 19th person doesn't show themselves in front of us, if the culprit could get Grandfather out through the door sealed by the receipt, they could kill Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi from the other side of the door, sealed by a chain. They could possibly go so far as to create a fictional 19th person through strange tricks and devices. We still want to believe that the culprit is among the 18. The list of suspects has grown very short. 4 of us kids, Aunt Natsuhi, Genji-san, Kumasawa Ba-chan, and Dr. Nanjo. One of these people has to be the culprit. Wait, we can't be sure of that. Just a second ago, we started doubting whether the corpse here was actually Grandfather's, right? Maybe we can think of the other bodies in the same way. For example, the first 6 all had their faces horribly smashed. Some of the bodies had kept enough of their faces for us to confirm who they were, but that old bastard, for example, had lost his entire face, as though the whole thing had been neatly peeled off. We only figured out which body it was switched by their clothes and surroundings. The culprit prepared a fake body beforehand and altered it to make it look like they died, even though they were actually hiding somewhere after committing the crime. It may sound ridiculous, but it wouldn't be an impossible trick to pull off. It's too early to give in to this 19th person. No, switch.
マリアちゃん、それ以上しげしげと見てはなりません。さあ、バトラ君も。
Maybe. What is she looking at? Weapon?
カノンの容体も気になりますし、いつまでもこのようなところにはいられません。戻りましょう。
Maria didn't go out with everyone else, but remained in the boiler room. The thing she was staring so fixedly at probably wasn't Grandfather's body. Demon ice pick sticking out of his forehead was probably the sort of item that an enthusiast couldn't bear to ignore. Tapped her on the head.
おい、マリア。ベアトリーチェの目的は何なんだ。俺たち全員の命か。
ベアトリーチェはもうすぐ蘇るんだよ。その時、誰も生き残れはしない。
よくも笑えるもんだぜ。自分だけ蚊帳の外だと思ってるのか。どうして自分の身に危機が迫っていると感じない。
To all be revived in the Golden Land?
どうして怯えない。
ベアトリーチェは約束してくれたもん。私は黄金郷へ連れて行ってもらえるんだよ。そこはね、しがらみも何もない全ての人たちがずっと一緒にいつまでも優しくし合っていける素敵な場所なんだよ。私は楽しみだよ。その時はもうすぐだもん。
I'm wondering perhaps, if like Canon, she gets like stabbed before and still alive before dying, I guess. She has a sudden change of heart about the Golden Land. Oh, no, not Shadow. Just what kind of person is Maria? I only know what Maria was like 6 years ago, when she was 3. She was once pure and obedient, a good kid. This new Maria 6 years later, and the Maria I knew, seemed to fit together. So who is she, this witch who calls herself Maria? To Maria, who obstinately believes in the witch, a series of unresolvable crimes is proof that the witch actually exists. Every time something occurs that would be difficult for a human, it becomes a little harder for the rest of us to not believe in Beatrice. That's what I've been saying. It must be an intense pleasure for Maria to see her relatives, who once firmly denied the witch's existence, start acknowledging the witch's existence one by one. Perhaps that acknowledgement will lead to the revival of the witch. Is that why she's in high spirits?
マリア、もう一遍だけ聞く。どうせ答えは同じだろうが、もう一遍だけ聞く。
Gave you the umbrella of the letter?
お前は昨日、バラ庭園で手紙をもらった。
Such an innocent looking face.
そいつは誰なんだ。
おお、だからベアトリーチェ。バトラがまだ信じない。おお。
Maria only repeated what she had already said. Maria met with the 19th person, the witch. Was that really a 19th person? Or did one of the 18 just get her to say that? All that's certain is that Maria has been with all the rest of us constantly. It's always had an alibi. It hasn't done anything suspicious. I somewhat doubt that last part, but okay. She was simply overjoyed at being made Beatrice's messenger, and certainly isn't the 19th person. Supposedly. That's right. I wonder what's written in the letter we picked up in Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi's room. Aunt Natsui should still have it with her. Shatter. So... Oh yeah, 8 o'clock. In the end, Karen-kun did not regain consciousness, even though Dr. Nanjo rested all they could to heal him. Of course, there was very little that could be done on an island like this without medicine or proper facilities, especially after he pulled a weapon out of his body. However, Karen was the only human ever to confront the culprit. If only he could give us some kind of clue. However, by the time they carried Karen away, it was already too late.
申し訳ありません。
Is the clue he left behind the ice pick, perhaps?
あのような重傷を設備のないところではどうしようも。
いえ、無理もないことです。最善を尽くしてくださりありがとうございました。
Dr. Nonjo's shirt had been sprayed by a violent spurt of blood. So it was easy to imagine the devotion with which he had tried to save Cannon's life, till the last second. Jessica was crouched in the corridor, crying softly. She had probably been taking care of Cannon until the moment of his death. George Anarchy tried to approach her with words of comfort. When Jessica pushed him away, he stopped trying to force her to talk and left her alone.
私がカノンさんを一人で行かせなければ。
気に病むことはない。仮に一緒だったら熊沢も襲われていたかもしれん。それに愚かにも先走ったゆえの自業自得だ。
そんな言い方ってねえぜ。カノン君は犯人の姿を見つけて勇敢に立ち向かったんだ。熊沢さんも一緒だったら犯人は躊躇して逃げることを選んだかもしれない。
Emotion-filled words that I'd never thought I'd hear coming from Jessica's mouth tumbled out. Yeah, I mean, alternatively, if instead of confronting it, Cannon had run away, at least then he'd have been able to share information. The others, if they believe him. But anyway.
ジェシカ、今は言葉をかけるべきじゃない。僕だって。そしてバトラ君もだろう。もう何が何だかわからなくて心が張り裂けそうだよ。
There were tears in George Anarchy's eyes once again. There, seeing Jessica break down, crying, probably brought back the pain of losing his parents. I'd done my crying all at once, so I didn't feel like crying anymore. However, I understood how great the pain in their hearts was.
大丈夫だよ、ジェシカお姉ちゃん。
Okay, so now that he's dead, what's the updated message? With a weapon resembling an ice pick having been rammed into his chest, he was found in the boiler room. How presumptuous for furniture.
カノンにだってまたすぐ会えるよ。
よしてくれよ。そういう慰めはいらねえぜ。
If you think about it, it doesn't sound like consolation.
ベアトリーチェは死者も失った愛すらも蘇らせる。だからきっとすぐに会えるよ。そしてきっとみんなで穏やかに過ごせるから。
カノン君を殺したのがマリアに昨日手紙を渡したっていうベアトリーチェなのか。そいつはどこにいるんだよ。どこに隠れてるんだよ。私が見つけて引き裂いてやる。言えよ。知ってるんだろ犯人の正体を。お前は何を知っていて何を隠してるんだ。話しやがれ。
お嬢様、おやめください。
ベアトリーチェはいる。
The air quotes.
畜生、源氏さん話せよ。マリアが犯人を知ってる。しかもそいつは知ってて隠してるんだ。そして私たちの内情を伝えて殺しの手引きをしてるに違いないんだぜ。
How would she be telling them though?
ジェシカ、静かにしなさい。
Jessica grabbed at Maria. Genji tried to stop her, but Jessica could not be calmed. Next thing I heard was the sound of Aunt Natsui slapping Jessica's face. After that, only Jessica's sorrowful, sobbing voice resounded throughout the hall.
マリアちゃん、僕は君が断じて犯人ではないことを知っている。君はいつも僕たちと一緒にいたし、犯人なんかと通じている時間はなかった。だから聞かせてほしい。君に昨日手紙を渡したベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
Although those words seemed kind, they clearly showed that George still had some remaining doubts about Maria. He didn't actually grab at her. However, he felt exactly the same way Jessica did.
兄貴、 同じことは俺もさっき聞いたぜ。返事は同じさ。
マリアちゃんの口から聞きたい。ベアトリーチェとは誰なんだい？
言ってもどうせ信じない。
それはどういう意味だい？ひょっとして僕らのよく知る人物が犯人で。
No, I think she means exactly what she's been saying the whole time.
君は何かの事情からそれをかばうために黙っているというのかい？君はあの手紙を誰にもらったんだい？
ベアトリーチェにもらったんだよ。何度だって言う。手紙はベアトリーチェにもらった。ジョージお兄ちゃんがベアトリーチェを信じないのは殴れる相手じゃないから？ジョージお兄ちゃんはやるせない気持ちを暴力に変えて誰かにぶつけたいと思っている。だから殴れる相手が人間じゃなきゃ収まりがつかない。だからそんなジョージお兄ちゃんには真実を話しても受け入れられない。だから言っても無駄。信じない。でもマリアは何度も言うよ。真実だから言うよ。ベアトリーチェはね、いるの。黄金鏡の扉はもうすぐ開かれるよ。マリアはそこに行くの。
I just had a thought. Not configs, no, I did not want that. Tips. What if Twilight isn't actually Twilight, but some other kind of event? The first day of the 6 chosen life key sacrifices, yeah. Second, Twilight, those who remain show path to a cliff. Okay, the idea which I had doesn't quite fit in. So the idea was Canon dies after quote-unquote Kinzo, and quote-unquote Kinzo was killed by a hit to the head, kind of event to the chest, so the Twilight would be some other event, maybe, some whatever it is, that is faster than a day, but that we're up to the 5th Twilight already, perhaps. And then the question is, praising my noble name. Not sure about that happening yet.
ベアトリーチェが約束してくれたの。その世界ではママも優しくてパパも一緒で優しいの。マリアは早くそこへ行きたいの。みんなはベアトリーチェのことを恐れている。そしてそれは無理もないことだけど、なら安心して。ベアトリーチェは言ってたよ。台風が去るまでに全てを終わらせるからって。
饒舌なマリアも嫌いじゃねえが、とりあえずはそのくらいにしとけ。魔女はいるいる言ってたお前にとってさぞや現状は愉快だろうが、とりあえずそいつはお前だけで噛み締めとけ。他人にまで押し付けるんじゃねえ。
こいつ前から気持ち悪いやつだとは思ってたけど、おかしいぜ。どっかおかしいぜ。バトラは思わねえのかよ。ケンジさんは、熊沢さんは、母さんはどうだよ。マリアは犯人の正体を知ってて隠してる。確かに直接手を下してるわけじゃないかもしれない。でも間違いなく犯人の一味だぜ。そうさ、スパイさ。私たちと一緒になんかいさせられないぜ。
マリアちゃん、不謹慎な話を慎むべき時もあることを知りなさい。これ以上混乱に油を注ぐような真似が過ぎれば。
Natsui glared at Maria with frightening eyes. Maria was used to Aunt Rosa's loud style of scolding. She apparently hadn't built up resistance to Aunt Natsui's quiet sort of scolding. She shrugged and kept her mouth shut. A desolate feeling filled the room. It felt as though things would just get more complicated if anyone spoke. How many people have already died? 6 people in Dad's group. After that, both Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi, Kanon-kun, grandfather. There were a whole 18 people in this island, supposedly. And 10 of those people had been killed. That's more than half of us. Right now, there's absolutely no proof that the remaining 8 people will be safe.
とにかく今は仲違いをしている時ではありません。犯人が神出鬼没に屋敷内を出入りしていることが間違いなくなった今、私たちは明日まで身を守ることだけに専念しなくてはなりません。
夏日おばさんに極めて同感だぜ。犯人探しは今夜ゆっくりできるさ。今はどこで籠城するかを考えた方がいい。
As I said this, I pointed out the clock to everyone. It was already 8 that night. We'd been receiving shocks over and over again since the early morning. Our bodies and minds were both completely tired out. It's still a long, long time until tomorrow. We needed to find some place to barricade ourselves in, so we could rest our bodies and get even the smallest amount of relief.
私も同感ですな。私も含め、もうみんな体も心も限界まで打ちのめされています。今からそれを考えた方が賢明でしょうな。
そういうこった。敵はマスターキーに準ずるものを持っている降参が高い。
シャノンやカノン君、ゴーダさんはマスターキーを持ってましたか？
はい。勤務時間中だったなら身につけていたはずです。
現場をいじらない方がいいってんで、そこまでは調べなかったのが、誰かの鍵が奪われている可能性は否定できねえな。
Yep.
そもそも犯人はバラ庭園倉庫のシャッターを開けるために一度使用人室を訪れている可能性があります。そこでマスターキーをすでに入手していると考えて間違いないでしょう。
There were many servants serving the Ushiromia family. Because of that, there were several master keys. Furthermore, every time one employee started or finished working, keys were passed between servants. We had to acknowledge that this had probably gotten a little bit sloppy at times in the past.
仮に殺された使用人の誰かのポケットから鍵束を拝借したとして、その鍵でも開けられない安全な場所はあるのか？
私たちはお仕事の都合上、すべてのお部屋の鍵を預かっております。
Including the one with the gold bar in it?
お屋敷もゲストハウスもすべてです。
つまり私たちはどこへ立てこもって鍵をかけようと上等だぜ。鍵なんかいるもんか。来るなら来やがれってんだ。返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
敵は正面から来ないよ。最初の6人はともかく母さんたちやカノン君、そしておじい様の霊を見る限り敵は孤立した人間だけを狙ってる。一部屋に固まっている僕たちのところへ堂々と乗り込んで来られるほどの力はないんだよ。
そうだな。兄貴の言う通りだ。ひょっとするとおばさんのライフル銃が抑止効果として成立してるのかもしれないぜ。
なら良いのですが。
マリア、言いたいことがあるんだろうが、そいつは飲み込んでしばらく黙ってろ。
What if she has important information? Maria probably wanted to say something about how witches weren't afraid of things like guns. But if you should say it out loud, the atmosphere around here would start to get pretty edgy. I'd noticed and decided to put a stop to it.
よろしいでしょうか。
Oh?
一箇所だけ使用人の鍵束でも入れない場所が。
Perhaps the office?
それはどこです？
はい、親方様の書斎です。
私は反対だぜ。じいさまの気持ち悪い部屋になんか入りたくない。
あの部屋に入れる鍵は何本あるんですか
？2本です。1本は常に私が、もう1本は親方様がお持ちでしたが、先ほどボイラー室の遺体からこれを。
Genji took the handkerchief out of his pocket and opened it, showing us the burnt and filthy study key. So, since the key is outside of the room, it's possible that the assailant had access to the key somehow, away from Kinzo, and then planted it back on the body, but on the other hand, that also sounds very unlikely. Then, he shared it alongside his own key, which he had once lent to Natsu.
本来なら警察のために鍵も残すべきだったのですが、親方様より書斎の留守は必ず守るようにと仰せつけられておりましたので、私。なるほど。ということは、金蔵さんの書斎は唯一の安全地帯というわけですな。
Although ask yourself about the safety of the two Ever and Hideyoshi. Yeah, thinking about their deaths, one of them was in the shower, one of them was in the main room at the time. I am somewhat reminded of a completely different genre, but The Expanse, where Holden, what's his name? The detective Miller, I think. That proton molecule version thing can talk to Holden, but only when Holden is alone, because interfering with brainwaves gets complicated when there's multiple of them. So perhaps it's something similar like that, where the witch can only manifest with the golden butterflies when it's only affecting one person's perceptions. Then there is definitely something odd with all this, back when Battle was in the kitchen at the start of the day, with all the servants looking at a specific spot next to him, saying Beatrice exists. Although also then odd that they don't say a single thing once Maria arrived. I'm really not sure what to make of that.
あの怪しげな匂いの部屋に一晩も立てこもるなど考えたくもありませんが、あの部屋が一番安全であることを今は認めなければならないようです。
その安全な部屋に閉じこもってたじいさまを犯人は連れ出して殺してる。
It's also possible that he brought himself out.
絶対安全とは言い切れねえけどな。
バトラ君の説のおじい様がうまくレシートをやり過ごして自分の意思で部屋を出たと考えるなら、籠城の価値はあるかもしれない。
へえ、楽観的すぎだぜ、兄貴。
Well, I mean, yeah, there's being optimistic, but then there's also, it's probably still the safest place, even if they've got a way to get in. Although it is a big study with multiple rooms in effect, there might be enough way in, actually. However, at the same time, I thought she brought up a pretty interesting point. After all, this gives us a chance to question the enemy, the witch herself, about how the sealed door had been opened. If we assume the culprit used some technique to kidnap grandfather from the study, they'd have to show us the same trick again if they wanted to sort us from the study. And that'd give us a chance to make the culprit prove how they did it right before our eyes. If she's really a witch, we'll be forcing her to use her little magic trick to open the door right in front of us. That's probably impossible. You spin the chessboard around. It's obvious the culprit is acting in ways that will make us think they're a witch. she really is a witch, all she's got to do is appear in front of us and wow us with a colourful display of magic. Since she's avoided doing that, everything must be the work of a fake witch who wants us to think she's real. Well, if we assume that magic exists in this universe, there's also the possibility that magic, being observed, cancels out the magical effect. That is a somewhat common explanation. Or other things, other series where like showing magic to other people is illegal for mage associations and stuff like that. In any case, I will be ending it there for now. Actually, yeah, thinking about it in Fate, the reason why it's illegal to show it to people is because then it weakens the mystery, which weakens the power of magic. So it's the same lines as that. In any case, while there's still a lot of questions going on, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.